All right, folks, we have moved on from solving equations to solving inequalities. And we talked last week about solving two-step inequalities. And today we are just going to dive into solving multi-step inequalities. Now, the good news is that you solve multi-step inequalities the same way that you would solve multi-step equations. So it's that same set of 5 steps that we learned. So step 1 is going to be to distribute if necessary. And remember, it will be necessary if there are parentheses in the problem. Step 2 will be to combine like terms. On the same side. Step 3 will be to add or subtract to cancel the smallest variable. Step 4 will be to undo addition or subtraction. And then finally, step 5 will be to undo multiplication or division. Now, I want you to remember that on this step 5, there is an extra question that has to be asked. Because remember, when you multiply or divide, if you multiply or divide by a negative number, it causes the inequality sign to flip. So you do, on this step, need to ask yourself that question, is it a flipper? Is it a flipper? So add that on and continue to get yourself in the habit of doing that. So let's solve some problems here. And this should feel awfully familiar because it is a lot like what we did with our equations. All right, so the first one we're going to solve is 4x minus 6 is greater than or equal to 6x minus 20. All right, I would still recommend that you draw yourself a line down through that inequality sign just so you can see the two sides. So now let's go through our 5 steps. Do I need to distribute in this problem? The answer is no. There are no parentheses. Can I combine like terms on the same side? Well, let's see. Side 1 doesn't have any like terms. Side 2 doesn't either, so that would be a no on step 2. For step 3, do I need to cancel the smallest variable? And the answer is yes. 4x appears to be my smallest variable, so I would subtract 4x on each side to cancel that out. So now I have negative 6 is greater than or equal to 2x minus 20. All right, time to do step 4, undo addition or subtraction. So when I look at this problem, I see subtracting 20. So I'm going to do the opposite to cancel that out and add 20 to both sides. That gives me negative 6 plus 20 is 14, which is greater than or equal to 2x. And then my last step is to undo multiplying or dividing. When I look at this, I see that I am multiplying x by 2. So I will do the opposite and divide each side by 2. Is it a flipper? No, because I'm dividing by a positive number. So that will continue to be greater than or equal to, and I get 7 is greater than or equal to x. Now I want you to remember from our discussion last week that graphing this, on a number line, we would want to be careful, because to graph it, you really would prefer to see the x come first. So instead of 7 is greater than or equal to x, you would want to write that as x is less than or equal to 7. That would be an equivalent version of that answer. So notice that when I flip-flop this thing so that the x comes first, that inequality sign flips as well. So answer for this one would be x is less than or equal to 7. So with the exception of the flipper part of this, everything else is the same. All right, on our next one, let's do 5n minus 3 times n minus 6 is greater than or equal to 0. All right, so step 1. Do I need to distribute? The answer is yes. So my 5n will move down, and then I will distribute negative 3 times n, which is negative 3n, and negative 3 times negative 6, which is positive 18, and that is greater than or equal to 0. So step 1 is done. Step 2, can I combine like terms on the same side? And the answer this time is yes. I see on the first side of the problem that I can combine 5n and negative 3n. So 5n minus 3n makes this 2n, plus 18 is greater than or equal to 0. Step 3, can I cancel the smallest variable? This time the answer is no, because there's only one variable in the problem. So I don't want to cancel that out. Step 4, undo adding or subtracting. I see adding 18, so I will do the opposite and subtract 18 on both sides. That gives me 2n is greater than or equal to 0 minus 18, which is negative 18. Undo multiplying or dividing. On this problem, I need to divide both sides by 2. Is it a flipper? No, because I divided by a positive number. So I get n is greater than or equal to a negative 9. All right, let's do 3 times x plus 1 plus 11 is less than negative 2 times x plus 13. All right, do we need to distribute? Yes. So we'll do 3 times x, which is 3x. 3 times positive 1 is positive 3, plus 11 is less than negative 2 times x, which is negative 2x, and negative 2 times positive 13, which is a negative 26. So step 1 is done. Do I need to combine like terms on the same side? When I look at this thing, I see that on the first side, I can combine the positive 3 and the positive 11. Those are like terms. So this is going to become 3x plus 14 is less than negative 2x minus 26. Do I need to cancel the smallest variable? The answer is yes, which is this negative 2x. So I will add 2x to cancel that out. And I'll do that on both sides. So that gives me 5x plus 14 is less than a negative 26. Undo addition or subtraction. I will subtract 14. Which gives me 5x is less than a negative 40. Undo multiply or divide. I'll divide both sides by 5, and I'll ask, is it a flipper? No. So I get x is less than a negative 8. So again here, same thing we did with equations. The only difference is that flipper question at the end. All right, so let's do one more. We're going to do 2 times x plus 1 plus 2x plus 2 is less than 2 times 3x plus 5 minus 12. All right, step 1. Do we need to distribute? And the answer is yes. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times positive 1 is positive 2. Then we bring down our plus 2x and our plus 2. On the other side, we need to distribute. 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times positive 5 is positive 10. And we bring down that minus 12. Step 1 is complete. All right, step 2. Can I combine like terms on the same side? On side 1, I know I can combine 2x with positive 2x. And I also see that I can combine a positive 2 with a positive 2. So, 2x plus 2x makes 4x, and 2 plus 2, positive 4. On side 2, I also see some like terms that I can combine. I can combine a positive 10 with a negative 12. So over here, I'm going to have 6x. 10 minus 12 makes a negative 2. So there's step 2 done. Step 3. Can I cancel the smallest variable? And the answer is I should. I have 4x on one side, I have 6x on the other. So I'm going to cancel this 4x. So I'm going to do minus 4x on each side. So that gives me 4 is less than 2x minus 2. Undo adding or subtracting. Well, I see subtracting 2, so I know I need to add 2. I get 6 is less than 2x. Undo multiplying or dividing. I see multiplying by 2, so I divide each side by 2. And then I ask, is it a flipper? And the answer is no. I have divided by a positive, so I'm going to get 3 is less than x. Now don't forget that for purposes of graphing, that answer is not the way we would like to see it written. We would prefer to have x first and 3 second. So if 3 is less than x, then that means that x must be greater than 3. All right, so same 5 steps that we used with equations. Just remember to ask on that multiplying or dividing step, the very last one, is it a flipper? And remember that in your final answers, we would always prefer to see x first and the number second. Should you have any questions, please contact me with those and let me know.